For years, Usher's climb to fame was framed like a dream. A talented kid, perfect guides, and an express lane to glory. But now, fragments of that legend are beginning to feel far darker. As Usher speaks honestly about his earliest time around Diddy, uneasy questions return about what he truly surrendered to survive the business. People once close to Diddy are talking again too. Gene Deal, who was present through those chapters, has started lifting the veil on what existence felt like behind sealed doors. From unsettling tales about rigid routines to accusations that Diddy viewed young artists as possessions, the image forming is disturbing at best. And according to Gone, none of this unfolded alone. He claims Clive Davis held enormous influence, shaping Diddy's choices and engineering the atmosphere surrounding him, while consequences loomed silently, waiting patiently, threatening careers, reputations, futures, and lives, everywhere, always.
He learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with.
Now, with Usher finally shattering his silence and forgotten stories snapping into darker focus, Diddy faces pressure unlike anything before. What truly unfolded inside Flavor Camp? How much power did figures like Clive Davis hold over Usher's childhood? And why do these details suddenly feel impossible to ignore? We're going to unravel all of it and more in this video. First, let's rewind to what happened at Puffy's Flavor Camp and everything Usher may have seen, especially since he's already dared to mention it once before the truth changes everything forever.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So nobody
it was crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. You know, I had like,
What
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Yeah.
When Usher was just 13 years old, everything shifted overnight. Diddy stepped in as his legal guardian and assumed command of his early career while shaping his debut album. At a time when most kids focus on homework and friendships, Usher was abruptly thrown into adult worlds, surrounded by people, environments, and expectations far heavier than anyone his age should carry.
Don't sit on the bed at night, no homo, no, just don't get close to the bed, don't get close, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man, it's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, just let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen.
Years later, Usher revealed that living beneath Diddy's protection exposed him to realities no child should ever be forced to absorb. In 2004, during the peak of Usher's Confessions era, Usher explained in a Rolling Stone interview that Diddy ushered him into an entirely different world of sex specifically. Usher reflected that sex runs incredibly hot in the industry, man, and recalled that inside Diddy's house, women were always present. You'd open a door and catch someone in the act or several people gathered in a room having an orgy and never knew what might unfold next. He said that atmosphere pushed him into adult situations long before he was emotionally prepared. The industry moved quickly, and so did the disappearance of his innocence. Usher went on to say he would never pass down any advice Diddy gave him. He described it as something he endured rather than something that swallowed him, making it clear he had to consciously shield himself from being dragged beneath it all.
Usher confessed that Lifetime Achievement Award was a hush payment for your asshole and all of the many years of abuse. That wasn't no lifetime. I'm still mad. People say, "Why you say that about Usher?"
Oh, okay. So
I'm mad that people aren't more mad at Usher.
For what?
Because somewhere along the way he went from a victim to a procurer to a head turner. Like, let's just be honest about Usher. Is he a victim or is he a cooperating agent?
I think we saw the moment he turned into.
Let's be honest.
It's when Diddy put his arm around him and said,
"We all know that chili was a PR relationship. We know that, right? That chili wasn't real. Him and Chili.
Oh yeah, you said Chili.
That wasn't. Who believes that was real?
I don't. Hands? No hands? Okay, all right.
Now, it all looked cute, older, hot, sexy woman, younger guy. And both very good-looking people.
Yes.
So how the f*** he ended up with that after that?
His baby mama.
She was.
Let's be clear. He was still a young man. Let's be clear. He was still a young man and he was Usher. So if there was vanity involved, how the f*** you go from Chili to that? And don't say it's true love.
Still, surviving doesn't mean unscarred. Being raised inside that world can distort how someone understands trust, power, relationships, and control. It can demand adulthood before readiness and leave emotional burdens that only reveal themselves much later. That's why fans took notice in 2024 when Usher abruptly erased his social media presence. Even though explanations eventually followed, the timing sparked speculation about whether he was attempting to bury something before it surfaced.
Usher deleted all of his tweets after the allegations about Diddy. And we saw Diddy do the same thing with his Instagram just a couple months before the feds arrested him. And I feel like there was something on Twitter he really didn't want us to see, because why would you mass delete all of your tweets after you are being named in all of these allegations with Diddy? Dawn Richards' lawsuit against Diddy accused Usher and Neo of being there and watching when Diddy forcefully punched Cassie in the stomach, causing her to double over in visible pain. Dawn Richards said at this point, this is when she felt very unsafe because she noticed the amount of power Diddy had, because these celebrities never said anything about Diddy committing this crime, and they just continued to work with him after this. And that's not all. We also have the allegations of Usher being the one to bring Justin Bieber to Diddy, and this is circulating like crazy, and you cannot tell me that he has not seen this. The same crazy allegations are being brought up in Kim Porter's book, how she allegedly found these tapes that Diddy had, and she's talking about a young pop star, which a lot of people are thinking is Justin Bieber. So the fact that Usher would do something so publicly like this when he is being scrutinized all over the internet really makes me think that there was something deep down that we were not supposed to see. And some people are thinking because of this that Usher might be the celebrity that's going to testify against Diddy. And I honestly don't know, but that really doesn't make sense to me why Usher would mass delete all of his tweets if he's being brought in as a witness against Diddy. And after all of these allegations about Usher being spread like wildfire all over, the fact that he would mass delete these tweets because he's a witness really doesn't make sense to me. It's more like you were mass deleting stuff because you didn't want people to start digging. And
Gene Deal explains that Usher didn't grow up around just one powerful figure. He was surrounded by many industry adults who fully understood how young he was. They witnessed what was unfolding, stayed silent, and continued pushing him forward regardless. Instead of shielding him, they handled him like an asset. After those formative years, Usher suddenly began receiving everything. The strongest records, the biggest opportunities. He was molded into a superstar while still carrying burdens no child should ever have been forced to hold.
People believed that, Usher was by Diddy.
He wasn't only by Diddy, he was by L.A. Reid, the rest of them too, man. Because they knew what happened. Then they came out and brought him back, and all of a sudden, he's getting all the great tracks. He's getting all the songs. They making him into this star, even though he may have been a.
They seem to be pretty good friends.
Well, they probably is.
I mean, they did a lot of work together, man, throughout their whole career. Puff was early in his career. Puff and Usher were working together when Usher was just a kid, all the way up. I mean, I think there's videos from not too long ago when they were together, and Puff is making jokes about how they used to wrestle for the Frosted Flakes in the morning, and
yeah, I bet they did. Somebody frosted somebody frosted somebody flakes. Without the milk.
What do you think it is that keeps Usher from coming out or saying anything?
Because, dog, it's you got to realize in that industry, a lot of people are stand back and say, well, it happened to me. That's how some of them people pay their dues. And the people who don't go down like that don't be as great as the Ushers, as the Diddys. It's a way of passage to certain people in the entertainment.
From the outside, it appeared like triumph. On the inside, it had to be unbearable. Gene also breaks down why someone like Usher might never come forward. In that world, people are conditioned to believe suffering is simply part of the journey. If you succeed, you're expected to stay silent. If you don't, you disappear. That mindset traps people in silence for decades. Gene Deal says none of this began suddenly. He explains that Diddy didn't transform into who people now discuss by himself. He says Diddy absorbed those patterns from powerful figures who molded him inside the music industry system.
New York City, he was like that gecko from the Geico commercial. Then he turned and started going, when he lived in Cali and Miami, he turned into Godzilla. I would see him talk about how he using drugs. He was never like that. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed and everything like that. He turned into something that you could consider a monster, bro. Then he started doing things to people, you understand, that he learned. That's a learned behavior, bro.
According to Gene, those mentors taught him brutal lesson. Every boundary disappears whenever victory demands it.
Learned behavior from the people that mentored him. You gotta realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story, when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed. You understand? Bruh, this is that he learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them.
As the money, influence, and pressure increased, Diddy's behavior grew more dangerous and unpredictable. What began as drive slowly hardened into domination. And once those habits were learned, he didn't break them. He repeated them. That's why this connects directly to someone like Usher. When young artists are raised inside that system, they aren't only taught music, they're taught how authority operates. And sometimes, the lessons they absorb are the most damaging ones.
Between Clive Davis and Diddy's interesting because when Diddy's 23 years old, he's making a name for himself. Clive gave him $15 million to start Bad Boy Records. And then later on, they did even a bigger deal where Clive gave him $50 million advance on future earnings. This is 5 years later in 1998. $6 million upfront payment, $700,000 annual salary, and a state-of-the-art recording studio. We're talking a $2 million recording studio. This is when he went after Faith Evans. He got Biggie in the early 90s. This is when it started. But there's a relationship with Clive, and it's interesting because Clive later on, they say something may have happened here because Shook said Clive taught him the bad habits, and later on Clive comes out and says the following: yes, record mogul Clive Davis has identified as being bisexual. He publicly revealed in his memoir, this is not allegedly, he said it, the soundtrack of my life. At the age of 80, he also discussed in an interview with Katie Couric, expressing the hope that his coming out would contribute to greater understanding of bisexuality. It's Clive Davis.
They sacrificing Diddy. They said, you gotta take this shit. We can't be involved. But Diddy's smart. He filmed every session. So he was fucking Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music Group. So he got them on some tapes. Now that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends in Homeland Security and the feds. And they said, get in there and get them tapes from this nigga. He trying to blackmail us. That's what I believe is going on.
I walked in Jimmy's office. I didn't have to knock on the door or get somebody let Jimmy know Mr. Knight there. Walk right in. He do his thing. Anyway, when he walked in my office, we was having a conversation. He overheard somebody say something he probably shouldn't have heard. He wanted to holler at me. So I tell the homies, give me a minute. Jimmy said, man, I'm here because Clive Davis called me, and him and Puffy is real tight. And, he loved us. So I thought he was talking like they got love for each other. It's all right. He said, yeah, they are lovers. I said, well, why you keep saying that? I said, look, you saying they lovers like they're sucking? He said, I don't want to say that, but that's what it means, right? I said, okay. He said, Clyde don't want nothing to happen to Puff. He said, but this guy ain't going to be able to do this business because we know what he did.
Clive Davis stood among the most powerful figures in music. He worked alongside legendary artists and held the authority to launch or destroy careers. When Diddy was young and desperate to break into the industry, Clive was already untouchable. He opened doors for Diddy, financed his vision, and helped him create Bad Boy Records. According to those close to the story, Clive didn't only school Diddy on music. He taught him how power truly functions. He taught him that dominance outweighs integrity and that people become instruments on the climb upward. When someone is raised on those lessons, they don't fade away, they get handed down.
They just know he got the budget. He go to LA, he talk to Clive, he come back with the bread. Apparently, he has this man's confidence. Yeah, I'm sure that man was very confident with his in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Clive is a whole freak.
You think Clive put him on to all?
I know. Clive, that's what he do. Queen Clive. Long may she reign in hell.
When 50 Cent...
Don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the shit went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being trafficked. And he was never questioned by Me Too. Why ain't nobody from Me Too saying anything? They had so much to say about Harvey Weinstein, who's now all his charges is being dropped. So much for their investigation. Guess it was a little...
And he believed Diddy became a mirror of what he was taught. When someone learns early that achievement excuses harmful behavior, it becomes easy to believe consequences no longer exist. Over time, that mentality can infect everyone nearby, especially younger artists. Throughout the years, many people tied to that world suffered deeply or vanished from the spotlight completely. Some lost their lives, others were quietly erased. Naturally, Diddy appears to have taken what Clive showed him and inflicted it on vulnerable men, women, and even children like Usher. Gone Deal has described one especially disturbing incident that reportedly left Usher bleeding and requiring stitches.
Because I know the topic is sensitive. What happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something. They may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, "Yo, I don't F with that dude." And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, "Yo, man, I don't F with them niggas. I'm getting out that industry and everything like that." You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard, and that's what happened. And that's just, that's something that you heard. You don't know if it's true, you just heard it. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard. It's something that I didn't know. It's something that I ain't see. A lot of people want to, because Gene Deal has spoken on certain things that I've heard, I have spoken on it. But then they were just trying to say, I know. No, I'm not scared to say what I heard. And if there's any truth to it, then it's truth to it.
Dean says. What makes this story land even harder years later is that fresh accusations are surfacing, with young people stepping forward and finally sharing their own roots. And as Usher's name enters the conversation again, Suge Knight comes forward with allegations of his own.
Know that Puffy was Usher. Now, one person didn't know what the saddest thing in the world is what they did to Justin Bieber.
What was that?
That's bad.
What'd they do to him? Because there's a lot of speculation out there, but nobody. I mean, I've heard things, but what did they really do to him?
They had sex with him
when he was a kid.
I hate to say that. I hate to say that because I really like Justin Bieber. I feel bad for Justin Bieber, and this wouldn't have happened if Justin Bieber came from a wealthy family. Justin Bieber pretty much came from a poor family, but the young man was so talented, and he could have been bigger than Michael Jackson. But the depression of the drugs and the stuff he allowed these grown men to do to this little boy is unhealthy, and it's f***ed up. No grown men supposed to be getting high and doing drugs and drinking with a kid.
Hey, Suge, yeah, Justin Bieber has been getting this out in different ways. You could see it in his music and just what he's been trying to say without saying it. So, I mean, I think everybody knows what you just stated to be true.
I mean, you had grown men would take Justin Bieber. A grown man take Justin Bieber when he was young. To a vacation, a romantic vacation, showing pictures on the Instagram with no women, nobody else but a grown, successful man and this little kid. And even if you and I was going on vacation together, and regardless if wise, mad or not, it's definitely not going to be in me and you. It's going to be mad because we're going to have some there. Or I'm not going to be sitting on a romantic island, just you and me.
He claims Usher once lived in the same space as Diddy while supposedly recording music, yet no tracks were ever released from that time. Later, when Usher was grown, Suge remembers crossing paths with him and immediately sensing that something wasn't right.
After that, when I met Usher, I came on one time, I'm speaking to the guy because he got good songs. That's out of respect. Like young black man. This dude rolled his eyes at me. And so somebody came over and said, Suge, don't have one of your guys do nothing to him. He a good young man, but him and Puffy got a thing. He had a thing. He said, he gave me a look like, And I thought about it. The way he rolled his eyes at me, it wasn't like somebody homie rolled it. It was like I beat up somebody's man. Like I beat his You know, he the like somebody to go, like you beat my boyfriend up. I ain't speaking to you.
Really?
It's one of those, right? Yeah, for sure. And the crazy thing about it is like Leslie, his mother, and everybody else said the same thing. Well, it was wrong, but if we go and get Puffy in trouble behind that, Usher wouldn't be Usher. He'd be known as the guy who got beat by Puffy, and they didn't want that. They want
Belief was that staying silent safeguarded his success, even if it destroyed him personally. It shouldn't shock anyone that what happened to Usher later influenced how he dealt with younger artists, including Justin Bieber. Jaguar Wright alleges that Usher actually sent Bieber to Diddy after grooming him, essentially repeating the same cycle once forced onto him. In her words, Diddy turned Usher into a predator. And then the pattern continued.
The Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more?
Does Usher earn redemption if he reveals Diddy and Clive? Share verdict below and tell us what justice looks like.